Welcome to this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. Uh, as as your host, I am Justin Allen Hayes, founder and executive director of Voices for Voices. Thank you for joining us. If you can give us a big thumbs up, follow, like, share, we would really appreciate that. And so we'll continue on the path of bringing this podcast to you, episode after episode after episode after episode. The work that we do as an organization probably isn't all that different than other organizations, or it may seem that way. And they seem like we're media hungry, that we love seeing our faces and our voices on media. As this show really it's coming to you, whether you're watching on video or you're listening on the audio version, the podcast, or maybe you're checking out our TV show and podcast transcript. And we know people are tuning in from all over the world. We're now 52 countries, and I double checked this, 555 cities across the world. Obviously, being a Northeast Ohio organization, it just blows us away at the support from following, downloading, liking, sharing, thumbs up, commenting that we've gotten. It really is. And that's just the audio podcast part. The TV show portion, the video portion, the Rumble and the YouTube, the other platforms. Even, go to voicesforvoices.org, go up to what we do, and then you can even check out our podcast through our very own website. And so when we talk about the show, we don't have the funds to be able, we don't have the dollars, we don't, whatever terminology you understand more, we don't have dollars to pay staff. We don't. And you've heard me over and over talk about how majority, like well over 95% of the funds that are being used to purchase a camera, to purchase software that helps us do things on the back end, that we're able to optimize our description, our title for every episode, our hashtags, our keywords, our thumbnails, that we can get our score closer to 100 instead of performing at 40, 50 out of 100. Because when we do that and we perform at that low level, that basically just takes our work and just throws it in a trash can, because it's not being shown to very many people. Again, it closer you are to 100. We know that the digital side of things, with phones and computers and everything, it's all run on algorithms, and the algorithms that I've neglected for a really long time because I didn't want to pay for additional software because we have to pay for everything. There's nothing that is a handout, that's a freebie. Uh, and so I didn't want to pay extra. So I was thinking, well, here's what I'll just make up the title and then the description I'll make up uh, and I just wrote it, have a great strategy around it, and it's in much better shape now than it has been, and it was, at the very beginning of when we were coming to you just on the audio, the podcast side of things. That we weren't in the TV studio, we weren't coming to you on YouTube and Rumble, and we weren't coming to you on TikTok and uh, filming some content related to true crime, and all this has to do with mental health. I get asked, well, how does every single show relate to mental health? Because an individual may, for one reason or another, select a show, and because the words mental health aren't uttered in that particular episode, then I don't know this organization. They're talking about mental health, but I listened or I watched this particular episode and they didn't say anything about mental health, or they didn't go really in depth about it. Well, and I have to say it because the message is not getting out. I have, at the very instant of filming of this particular episode of our TV show and podcast, I have major depression, generalized anxiety disorder, ADHD, ADD. Those, take it to the bank. Those are diagnoses. This isn't me making it up. This isn't me trying, or us trying to cash in as an organization on one of the hot topics of mental health and mental illness. I'm living it every single day. So don't you dare, I don't care who you are, say or comment that, well, Voices for Voices, they got this show, they got all these episodes, they didn't mention mental health. By the mere fact of the show existing is mental health, is mental illness. So that's something I've been waiting, I don't know why, to get that off my chest, because it is very, very condescending, very negative. It's a form of verbal abuse. And so, friend, family, colleague, former coworker, guest, previous guest, future guest, thinking about donating, thinking about sponsoring. This is for everybody. Okay? So no, I'm not going to say in every single episode the specific words of mental health, mental illness, because it takes away from the content that we want to bring to you. At the very beginning, when we kicked off this show in the TV studio and really even thought about expanding it outside the studio to YouTube and Rumble, etc., we had a teleprompter, and we always have a teleprompter. We still have it. I just don't use it anymore because I was finding that, number one, that was one of the metrics where people were turning away from it after 30 seconds, a minute. And so that was, again, one indication of, hey, that people are turning off before we're even getting to the major part of the content that we're bringing for a particular episode. Secondly, it takes time. And we're finding anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes out of a 30-minute episode. And at the very beginning, we were having some episodes were an hour. And so we've really refined things over that, say, episode over episode. We continue to just refine things here and there that, I talked a little bit about the back end, or a lot about the back end on a previous episode. And that goes out to all the haters, all the people that are saying that, that our organization, and me specifically, that I'm lazy, that all I do is sit on the computer, that Voices for Voices, that we're not helping people, that you're not trying to get better, Justin. If those words were spoken to you, I think you might have a little bit of feedback from that. So I have feedback, and I have really reduced my amount of swearing and the like, for a lot of reasons. It just doesn't help things. So again, for everybody out there that, again, may see our organization, may see, the digital footprint we have from our social media, from our audio platforms, from our video, from our TV posts, our episodes that go through the TV studio and are brought to quite a lot of people every week. And each of our episodes on the Wednesday it comes out, that's the premiere, but it's also aired 3 or 4 times additionally into that. So when somebody says, "Oh, you're not helping people," and what are you, what exactly are you doing? Why are you on the computer all the time? Why aren't you trying to get better? And what are you doing to get better? And you're using your mental illness as a crutch, as an excuse for behavior and actions. And I'm the first to come out and say that I wish it wasn't the case. I wish I didn't have that I don't have the mental illnesses that I do. I wish I didn't have to take medication. I wish I didn't have to go to therapy. I wish I didn't have to explain myself so much on our shows. But for some out there, and you know who you are, I gotta keep bringing it up, because we're not gonna be silenced as an organization. The organization named Voices for Voices is exactly what happens on every single show we have, every single episode. And I think, as transparent as can be about my life, about struggles, about having hard times, about being afraid, and what makes me afraid, and what makes me, nervous, and talking about the finances side of things, and so many, getting into the details of what it takes to bring a show from filming to coming in fruition to where you're watching or you're listening. And so I'm not just here doing this for no reason. I know, because of feedback of how many countries and cities, again, that's just the audio part, we origin above that on the video, and then obviously the TV side of things and subscribers. That's all. We're reaching a lot of people, so I know there's somebody that we have reached or we are reaching on this particular episode that you may be going through a lot of the things that I'm going through or I have gone through, or maybe just one thing, or maybe you know somebody that is acting in a particular way that this is for you, because everybody else knows, right? Y'all, the rest of you already have life figured out. You know, you can flip that switch on and off. So this episode, and maybe our organization, maybe this show and podcast, maybe this isn't for you, because this is raw, in the trenches, sharing a voice for a voice. So I'm sharing through my voice inside of me, of things that a lot of people don't want to hear, they don't want to listen to, because it hits too close to home, because we talk about thoughts and things that are going on in our heads. And so when we get to that point, people get offended, or I don't know. But I'm super, super transparent. Just look at our Voices for Voices TikTok, and you'll see some added content there, in addition to the transparency through our show. And we're reaching a lot of people. I didn't realize the whole TikTok phenomena. And we don't have 1 million subscribers. We don't have millions of followers. And we would love to have that. However, if we're able to help one person, and that's you, or you're able to touch somebody's life and say, look, there's somebody who's going through life. And I give another shout out to my brother in helping others, Life Warrior United, Mr. Mark McAdams, Dallas, Texas. He says, we're getting through some stuff. He says, and one of the times I'll swear, we're all going through some shit. We are. Every single one of us. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to address it or not. Do you have to go to therapy? No. Am I saying you have to? No. Am I saying you have to take medication? No. I'm sharing our guests' stories and their voices, and I'm sharing mine as well. So these are things that I've had to, and I continue to have to battle every single day. all the thoughts in my head of, what's all this for? I'm being told that we're not making a difference, we're not helping others. Uh, then we're talking about family, like close family, and I don't pretend to understand what everybody else does for their job. I just don't pretend to understand all that. So I have a real hard time, and an emotional hard time, when somebody who doesn't want to listen, doesn't want to hear the mechanics behind the scenes that are going on, to maybe shed a lot of light on some actions. And it's hard. I mean, this is hard for me to even talk about and talk through. I believe in this organization, Voices for Voices. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother-in-law, my nephews, uh, my aunt and uncle, a lot of very, very nice individuals who, the only reason they may not even know Voices for Voices is because my dad passed last March 1st in 2024. And so when anybody wants to come at the organization, no matter how near or far, and they don't want to hear all the different obstacles, all the different little things that get stacked upon each other like dominoes, and they each have to get done, and there's only so much time in a day. So while tasks individually aren't hard, don't take a lot of time, for every show we have, and then when we tweak things, like when we're finding out that we could have a better description, a better hashtags, better title, better thumbnail for our shows, then we have to go all the way back through all the shows we had. Because I don't want to, not just me, but our organization, we don't want to just have the best title, description, thumbnail, hashtags, keywords for just the latest episode. No, we want to go all the way back, because that's what we do. We take every episode seriously, and we want to treat them all the same in that respect, where we want all the scores between 0 to 100 to be as close to 100, from the very first episode to the very latest episode. So who's going to do that work? Who's going to do it? Who are we going to pay with little to no donations? Who's going to do it? Well, we don't have to. Yeah, right. We don't have to. And I haven't even gotten into the blog. We're several episodes behind on the blog, so every episode has a blog post uh, that that we upload to our website, voicesforvoices.org. You'll go to what we do, and then you'll see blog and blog posts, and you'll be able to check them all out, all the ones we have. So that's another piece. Well, what's a blog? A blog has words in it. Well, who's going to write those words? Or who's going to pay for the software to help give a little bit of AI help? I'm looking to the sides. I'm looking behind, and none of that's getting done without me. I started this organization. I took it from an event once a year to we're gonna hit. I mean, we're we're very close to 200 episodes, but we're gonna hit 300 by the end of 2025. So go ahead, come at me, come at us as an organization. Tell us how we're not helping people. Tell us that our work doesn't matter. Tell us how we're not trying, that we're not trying to get better, that we're using our mental health, mental illness diagnoses and visits and medication, all that as a crutch. Go ahead. Y'all, so I'll say y'all, but there's a lot of you out there that's what you've been coming out with us. So tune off our show or because this isn't for you. We're in the business of helping people. And so that's what we're doing. We're doing the best we can with the amount of money, as small as it is, and trying to, again, do the best we can. There's only so much time in a day. So do I work on a website for an hour? Do I spend an hour working on a blog for one of our past episodes? Do I not review prior episodes for to see if we have better descriptions and titles and thumbnails and hashtags and keywords? Again, it'd be great to have the financial support to be able to have the staff, interns, to be able to do that. But we can't right now. So what you see is what you get. And yeah, there are some things that are a little bit clunky, and that's just where we're at. You know, we're trying to help people at the end of the day. But if you don't want to help yourself, or you don't want to get deep enough to see intricacies in some of the what can be considered administrative, busy work that goes into having the organization, then this isn't for you. Voices for Voices isn't for you. It's for people that want to help others. And we're going to help 3 billion over the course of my lifetime and beyond. So we'll see you on the next episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. Thank you for joining us. Give us a big thumbs up like, share, comment, and we love you all.